Most TV shows are designed to entertain audiences and evoke some kind of emotional response. A laugh, a tear, or a gasp, perhaps. And ABC's Shark Tank does a little bit of everything. Not only does it make for engaging television, but it has also helped a lot of inventive people achieve their dreams. The reality series, which debuted on ABC in 2009, sees the owners of small and burgeoning businesses get the chance to meet some of America's most successful and active venture capitalists, including Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, Robert Herjavec, Daymond John, Lori Greiner, and Barbara Corcoran. Today, I am going to show you the biggest deals on Shark Tank. 10. Circadian Optics creator turned on the lights on Shark Tank. A TV show featuring entrepreneurs pitching their wares is a good idea, but Shark Tank is compelling because of the human interest element. Long's intention with Shark Tank was to offer a 10% stake in Circadian Optics in exchange for $750,000. You represent everything great about entrepreneurship, the American dream. You are freedom, investor Mark Cuban said before teaming up with Lori Greiner to give Long that $750,000, plus another $50,000 to go directly to her parents for 20% of the business. 9. Bala Bangles got the results its fitness entrepreneurs wanted. Good or creative presentational skills on the part of the entrepreneurs don't necessarily lead to a big Shark Tank deal, but putting on a little show will certainly get the show's resident investors listening. His and Holloway's company, Bala Bangles, offered a new take on exercise-enhancing weights one can wear on their arms and legs that are both stylish and simple, and which allow users to sweat in style. The Bala team's initial pitch: a 10% stake in the company in exchange for a $400,000 investment. Kislovitz and Holloway walked away with a lot more, but also gave up a lot more. Regular Shark Tank investor and guest panelist and former professional tennis player Maria Sharapova combined their efforts into a $900,000 investment for a 30% stake. 8. Was this Shark Tank deal for a wheel for real or a steal? Recurrent, nagging back pain is just a part of life for people who get to a certain middle to advanced age, or for those who engage in repetitive physical tasks daily. Apart from inexact remedies like medication or chiropractic medicine, sufferers may purchase a foam roller, a firm device that rolls along the spine, putting relieving pressure on an aching back. But as it turns out, those rollers aren't so great either. Stock wanted a whole lot of money for a very small portion of his company, $900,000 for 2%. Investor Lori Greiner got him to come up somewhat. She'd give him $900,000, but for a 2.5% stake, and he'd have to repay that near $1 million in 2 installments within a year and a half. 7. B. Devine landed a honey of a deal on Shark Tank. Alcohol companies often do well on Shark Tank because adult beverages sell extremely well and often at a high markup, which generates more profits for stakeholders. Take B. Devine, for example, a product pitched by entrepreneur Ailey Solomon on a 2020 episode of Shark Tank. He started B. Devine, a company that makes wine out of sustainably produced honey. Nevertheless, the product was good enough that every investor in the room besides O'Leary had some interest. In an almost unheard-of arrangement, nearly all present sharks went in on an offer together. In a counter to Solomon's ask for $750,000 for a 20% stake in B. Devine, investors Mark Cuban, Robert Herjavec, Lori Greiner, and guest panelist Kind Bar's founder Daniel Lubetsky put up that $750,000 for a shared 40% stake. 6. Beatbox Beverages rocked a tasty investment. The enduring popularity of hard sodas, seltzers, and ciders proves there was a market for a product like beatboxes, and the company was on the right side of that trend. Cuban agreed, investing $1 million for a third of Beatbox's shares, a hefty deal in terms of Shark Tank figures. Not only did I give them $1 million when they came in, but I've put more money in after that, and they were crushing it, Cuban explained. And then they've expanded into alcohol-flavored seltzers, and now they're blowing up completely. They've done a good job of expanding the business. Clearly, Cuban has no remorse about jumping into the tank with these folks. 5. Yellow leaf hammocks woke up the sharks. You might not think something as simple as a hammock would inspire high-stakes negotiations and million-dollar deals. After all, they're pretty common and are usually made from readily available materials. But Yellow Leaf's hammocks were something special, different, and perhaps better than any other hammock that came before. In 2020, Joe Daymond and Rachel Connors, co-founders of Yellow Leaf Hammocks, used their time with the Shark Tank Board of Investors to ask for a cash infusion of their next-generation sleeping slings. Daymond and Connors entered the tank asking for $400,000 in exchange for a 7% stake. But special guest shark Daniel Lubetsky, the head of Kind Snacks, had an even better offer. He put up $1 million and got a 25% stake in the fledgling hammock company. 4. Breathometer took all 5 sharks' breaths away. Entrepreneur Charles Michael Yim went before the Shark Tank Investor Squad in 2013 to seek funding for his pet project, a product that he believed and suggested could, if used properly, save lives by reducing the number of intoxicated drivers on the road. His device? The Breathometer. In an unusual arrangement, for Shark Tank at least, all 5 sharks present went in on a deal together. All told, Breathometer's founders walked home with $1 million that day, in exchange for 15% of the company, with Mark Cuban leading the investment team by ponying up half of the financial injection. 3. Spark change generated excitement and income. While there are lots of electric vehicle EV charging stations scattered across North America, they can be few and far between, putting a driver in a stressful situation if their car goes dead in the middle of nowhere. Aviv appeared on Shark Tank in 2020 in search of $1 million in additional funding to add to a $5 million nest egg, at the cost of a 6% stake. Cuban and fellow shark Lori Greiner were both so interested that they accepted Aviv's revised proposal. The duo could split the $1 million buy-in in exchange for a 10% stake, along with 2% advisor equity each. 2. PolarPro focused on a $1 million payday. In a 2015 episode of Shark Tank, Jeff Overall touted PolarPro, the company he founded just over 4 years earlier while he was a student and ski team member at the University of California, Santa Barbara. A fight amongst the sharks broke out. Mark Cuban offered $500,000 for a 10% share, and Daymond John countered with the same figure for a higher stake and a willingness to take on licensing and distribution work, if not a partnership with Cuban. Lori Greiner and Robert Herjavec also put deals on the table, but overall ultimately teamed up with Cuban and Herjavec, landing $500,000 from both investors in exchange for a 10% stake to each. 1. Goomy Kids founders got big money for tiny clothes. There are plenty of baby clothes manufacturers out there, competing for new parents' dollars, seeking to be the provider of swaddling clothes, sleeping garments, and activewear for the littlest of little ones. The brands that emerge are the ones whose clothes are attractive and as safe and non-toxic as possible. Those were the goals of Lili Yao and Lindsay Yubion, founders of Goomy Kids, had in mind when they created their company's initial product, baby mitts. After arguing with the sharks over their valuation, the investors thought Goomy Kids' assessment was far too high. They got down to business. Yao and Yubion wanted a massive $1 million in exchange for a substantial 8% stake in the company. Shark Kevin O'Leary bit, offering that $1 million in the form of a line of credit at 9% interest. And in return, he received a 10% stake in Goomy Kids. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, keep enjoying our videos, and I'll see you in the next video.